Hey NorCal, what is up? It is the NorCal Karters chick, and happy 2026, happy new year. We are getting started new year with a new season of NorCal Mondays. We are back. Today on the show, we are going to have Philip Pegler from Formula KFX, and then Andy's going to be joining us a little bit later from Challenge of the Americas. So if you have any questions for either of them, you can put them in the comments, and then we'll go through and answer them on the show as well. But little update from the NorCal Karters studio, I guess. If you hear a baby crying in the background, we added a new addition here. So he'll be out at the track this year. And he was born in October, so that's pretty much the end of the season. And now we're going into the start of a new season. So Josh and I kind of planned that very well. But yes, so new baby will be out at the track this year, probably with Formula KFX and Challenge of the Americas for sure is where you'll see us, and some of the other NorCal tracks. But today, what I was pretty much doing to get caught up for the new year was working on the fabulous NorCal Karters websites. So, have you ever wished that there was a calendar with all of the races on it in one place that with all the dates and everything that everyone's going to be doing? Well, guess what? NorCal Karters has had a calendar where all of the dates are listed and everyone's stuff has been posted. So I updated that today, got into 2026 dates, the ones that I have so far. Tomorrow, I'm going to be adding a couple more clubs. And if your club is not on it, then reach out to them, reach out to me, let me know so that I can get them added. I am going to be adding a couple more within the next day or so, but NorCalKarters.com/events, I believe it is. If not, you can just go to NorCal Karters, click on calendar, and it'll take you here. It's going to give you all of the events. So Formula KFX is listed, Challenge of the Americas is listed, Blue Max, Prairie City, CCKRA. I know I'm missing more. I'm apologize about that, but those are the first ones that are coming up. So NorCalKarters.com/events. Or you can just go onto the website and click calendar. I do have the 2 podcasts on that we're going to be doing this month. So I'm going to try and stay on top of the podcast, putting the podcasts on the calendar. So the links will be available there as well. And try and give you guys a little tidbit on who will be on the show. We are booking out into like February and March because we're doing 2 shows a month now. If we need to do more, we will do more. But right now we're only scheduling 2 months just so that way we can stay on top of all the information that is coming out. So just off the top of my head right now, we are going to be talking about Formula KFX. So I'm going to bring on Philip Pegler, who is the guy in charge, and he's going to tell us a little bit about the Formula KFX and the sprint/endurance race. So I'm going to bring up Phil, and we will get started. Hey, Phil.
Hi, Ashley. Hi. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. All right. So
and again,
let's
congratulations on the baby. We all really happy, guys. Fantastic. Really great.
Thank you. He'll be out at the races with us, so everybody will get a chance to see him at Formula KFX.
I think I'll
Everybody
bring my
that saw
daughter.
me pregnant,
Yeah, my daughter can
everybody.
start her babysitting training now.
Yeah, there you go. Everybody that saw me with the belly is now going to see the baby. So, all right. But we are gearing up for the Art Angles Memorial Race. Unfortunately, we're not going to be doing the Sid White Memorial, but Art Angles is still on, correct?
It is, very much so. We're really excited about it and getting things ready even now for that race.
All right. So give us a little rundown. I'll get you the website and the background right here. So same classes and everything that we run during Formula KFX, correct?
Yeah, just a little background on it. You know, this year, as you know, is the 70th anniversary of karting, which was born here in California. Art Ingalls, acknowledged as the father or grandfather of karting, who built the first go-kart down in the LA area. And I felt like it'd be really great to celebrate, you know, that anniversary. You know, often people who are new to the sport don't know, you know, about the history and heritage. And I think it's really important that here we are in California to do something to commemorate and celebrate what this gentleman did for the sport. And so I wanted to put together an event on this anniversary, which would embrace and, you know, encapsulate sort of all aspects of karting. So we have an event for teams. It starts off as an endurance and it ends up as a sprint. So essentially we got two 45-minute endurance races, which follow a 45-minute practice and qualifying in the morning. And then we have three sprint races. So one driver would do each sprint race, and they're each 10 minutes. And, you know, finally the end of the sprint final will declare the event winner. And we got great prizes this year, of course, in addition to a really beautiful trophy, which we'll present. The winning team will receive an entry into round one of our endurance championship, which is also at Sonoma about 2 weeks later, and $1,500 cash prize to that winning team as well. And they can split it, run away with it, whatever they want to do with it. But we're really excited to do that and, you know, give the girls something, you know, something to enjoy if they win it. So
yeah, for sure. And then so kind of going off of the website here, you mentioned that there's going to be a 45-minute practice and qualifying session, a 45-minute endurance race 1 and race 2. So it's listed here on the website. Then there'll be a 10-minute sprint race and another 10-minute sprint race with a 10-minute sprint final. Can you kind of, for the people who aren't familiar with endurance versus sprint race, can you kind of give us a little rundown, like what's going to be the difference between the 45-minute session and the 10-minute sessions?
Yeah. So, you know, there's a little more strategy involved in the endurance race part of the event. The first, I think, just about the qualifying and practice, the way I've done it, because we prepare the karts, you know, equally, they're all of the same spec, and you know, normally they all perform within a tenth of a second of each other, which has been great. You know, everything is prepared, so the drivers don't have to worry about all those technicalities in preparing their own car. So they get to come and after their briefing, they get to go out and practice. So it's designed for teams of 3 drivers. And so, you know, 45-minute, each guy can go out and have 15 minutes of that session if they want to break it up that way between them. And whatever the fastest time that kart does during that 45-minute session will be their qualifying time. So basically each driver has a go at, you know, at getting a good time in, plenty of time for clear track as well, and get a good time in. And that will determine the lineup of the first endurance race. For people who are familiar with endurance racing, obviously they're longer races, you know, as the name suggests. But with these karts, again, there's nothing really to do in a pit stop apart from refueling. So I felt it was better to break the race of 90 minutes into 2 45 minutes, which is about the length they can run on a tank of gas. And we'll finish the race, which will determine the starting lineup for the next race. And in that break, we'll refuel all the karts and what have you. And the karts will go back out in the order in which they finished and regrid and go for the next part. So with an endurance race of 45 minutes, again, you can pit twice to change. Each driver needs to drive. So it's in and a quick driver change. That it's very straightforward. Actually, there's no live refueling or tire changing or anything involved. It's simply a driver change in the pit stop, and then they go out and continue. So the karts, people ask about the weight. We take the team, all three drivers' weights, add them together, divide them by 3, and then they add or not, ballast to come up to the class weight. Seniors 185 pounds this year, and juniors 143 pounds, and they'll all run together. And the seniors, the kart carries that ballast for the event, so it just shakes out on average by the end. And then the sprint racing is the same. The sprint races are the same, except they're just quick races. They grid up and go 10 minutes. It's a quick dash and then stop. And then the next race, quick dash and then stop. And each successive race will line up on the qualifying, the order of the previous race's finish. So while one driver is trying to get, closer and closer to the front, they're also trying to get a good grid position for their teammate for the next section of the event. So a little bit of pressure there.
All right, so you're talking about teams and stuff, so let's talk a little bit about how to register and what's required for teams and
right. So
how to get all that done.
As the guys who are looking at the screen can see, you can go on our website, formulakfx.com, and there's a register now, that red button at the top right of the screen that you see next to the About tab. That will take you to a page where you can register for any of our things, and on there is this event. Also, there's the register tab further down in the blue box. That takes you directly to the form, I believe. You can click it if you want. Ashley, hopefully it'll go to the right place. There we go. And then so you'll see there's the team representative, which is like the captain of the team or the lead driver or one of the drivers, put in their information, little few questions about how did you find out about us, and whether you're going to be a senior or a junior, a name for your team, and then the 3 drivers that are involved. It's supposed to be for 3 drivers. So no 2 driver teams with doubling up if we can help it. So if people have a problem finding a 3rd driver, they need to let us know here, because there are several people who have called and said, oh, I'd love to do it, but I can't find any teammates. So perhaps we can put people together, and
that was actually
as well.
that was actually going to be my question. If there are two drivers that are kind of interested and they need a 3rd one, but so just like Phil said, if you guys are in that category of there's 2 of us interested, we need a 3rd person or anything like that, we do have people that have been calling or reaching out to try and find a team. So let us know, and then we'll put you in contact with somebody who is trying to find a team. So
there are quite a few people. If
you're on the fence with 2 drivers, still hit us up, so that way we can get the team teams going.
Absolutely. And try to register soon. There's about 8 or 9 spots, I think, left. I'd love to fill up the grid. I was going for a larger grid originally. I'm going for a little bit of a smaller grid now. But just sign up and register, and hopefully there's a spot.
Yeah. All right. So that is the Art Engels Memorial Race, and that is coming up February 1st, and it will be at Sonoma in the Formula KFX rental car.
The reverse sprint layout, for anybody who's interested in what the layout will be on the track, it's the reverse sprint. So not a very common layout, but really good for this kind of event.
Yeah. For more information, you can go to formulakfx.com. And it is right in the front, Art Ingalls Memorial Race, 13 years and up. But what we did want to also touch on is the 2026 Rotax Racing Club of California Championship Series. So we've been talking a lot about Sonoma and all of the Formula KFX races so far have been at Sonoma, but in 2026, we are going to be expanding into other NorCal tracks or other tracks in California. So tell us a little bit about the 10-round tour and what we're going to be looking forward to next year.
Yeah, but as people can see, there's the calendar is on the site. It's a 10-round championship. That was our original intention when we put this all together, beginning back in 2024 as we started to plan it. The model template for this is the Club 100 Championship in the UK, and we're not really related to that, but we have a working relationship with them. But we are born from that concept, and they travel to different tracks, and I felt like it would give people a chance to do a proper traveling racing series in the state, experiencing different circuits and different areas of the state. And again, they're not having to prepare their own karts and haul them around and look at that. These are all one-day events. And so was able to put agreements together with all of these tracks. They've been absolutely wonderful about welcoming us. So we're going to start in Sonoma, where we're familiar. And then we're going to head off up the road to Davis, to the Blue Max Kart Club, and then going to go south to Buttonwillow and Santa Maria, which is really one of my favorite tracks. And then we're going to go out to Northern Nevada Kart Club in Reno. I'm also really excited about our 6th round, which is in Adams Motorsports Park, which is really at the heart of the history and heritage thing again. In Riverside, we're going to have a night race on Saturday, 25th of July. I'm really, really excited about that. And then come back up to Santa Maria again for a second time. And then the back stretch of the season will be the Prairie City track. Then we're going to visit Dixon and finally come back to Sonoma to close it out. So it's basically around a month. What I didn't mention in the middle of all of that, in between, I think it's Santa Maria and Reno, is we're going off to UK or to Europe, actually, to the international finals for the Rotax Racing Club. So we've got that event as well. Some of our drivers will be going to Europe to compete, in that.
Yeah, so let's talk about that a little bit too. So the winners of the championship from last year actually won a trip to I can't remember where it is this year.
Well, it's actually it's scheduled to be in Genk in Belgium, but that is still pending. There are still a couple of different tracks that are potentially could be it's supposed to be in Genk. So we're waiting for confirmation on that. There are some other circuits been looked at, but the dates are set. It's May 28th to 30th in Europe. And it's the international final of the Rotax Racing Club, which is an international, the umbrella that covers Club 100 and our series here in the US. There's a series now in Canada, in China, Dubai, UAE, all over the place. Seven participating countries right now, running the same series as we have, essentially. And their champions, their qualified drivers will go to the event and compete for a world championship. So our 3 champions, the junior light, the senior light and senior heavy champions, all received race entry and their round trip and their hotel as their championship prize, as well as all of this year's racing with us on the house as well. So they get a full season of racing as well. But they'll be going to Europe, and then the 2nd and 3rd place championship sort of standings, the runner-up and third place of each of those classes get the race entry ticket as their prize. They don't get the trip itself. They have to get themselves there, but they get the race entry. So it's been great. And then we have, other tickets available for drivers in our series. So up to 5 for each class. So other drivers are welcome to buy a ticket.
And so just for clarification, also the 2026 championship is also receiving this prize.
Correct. It's an ongoing thing. I don't know the venue yet in 2027, but the prizes for the 2026 Formula KFX Rotax Racing Club champions, which are those 3 or 4 classes, if we fill out a junior heavyweight class as well, they will also get this same prize. It will be an all expenses trip to the international final in 2027, wherever it is. Could be Bahrain, could be Portugal, Italy, could be anywhere, Spain. And they will get the 2027 season on us, competing with us as well, plus the trophy. So yeah, it's great package, a great prize, I think, and definitely something to fight for in a good way.
And so, okay, give us a little recap of how last year, 2025, wow, that's weird to say,
it is,
2025 season went, and how the classes and everything were basically like the interest and everything we got for 2025.
Well, we started off with those launch events, and I was a little, it was a big project for us to put together. So I was a little anxious, as I think anybody would be, to make sure that everything went off in the right way. But we had those 2 launch events at the start of the year in August and September, where we really offered testing to everyone to come and experience the kart. So we had those little feature races. And that was really great. And I was very, very excited about that. And then I was really worried, was anybody actually going to come? We had great registration. The most popular class was the senior lightweight class. It got to the point where I was able to split the race finals into an A and B group, which was great. And the heavyweight senior group was close to that point toward the end of the year. I think we had 35 or 36 lightweight drivers competing, maybe 24 or 25 heavyweight drivers, and about 16 or 17 juniors. So, I would love to have more juniors, because that, in my heart, that's really what I want, is to give all these kids opportunities to come and do this and get some, notoriety, and have an opportunity to, say, go to Europe, like Amboise and Tyler and Noah on that class are going to be able to do. I think it's a wonderful opportunity for them. So in reflection, I was really, really happy about it. I think I would like to have had a few more juniors, but I think given it was a pilot series for last year, I think we surpassed our expectations,
Yeah, for sure. And we got a lot of positive feedback about the karts in general too. It wasn't, oh, this kart's better than the other and this and that, because of the way you have everything set up. It's not really the same kart all day type thing.
Correct. Too. That's right, Ashley. Yeah, we practice in one kart and qualify, and then you change karts. I mean, you don't know what you're doing unless you're a wizard and can remember every single chassis number on the grid. So you can't really go hunting for your favorite kart because of the way we line them up. They're always shuffled, and the top 3 karts are always put to the back, regardless. So there's never going in those same karts again. And it's always, there's obviously little variables in racing, and sometimes a kart just has a little bit better than another one. The engine breathes better at a different temperature or whatever, all sorts of things. So, but generally, they're within a tenth of a second of each other, which we're really proud of. It's a great product, and I think the package that Rotax and Club 100 created with the way the engine is set up, it's got a little bit of a restriction on it. It takes it removes that kind of area of the power band where the disparity can be. And yeah, I'm really happy with the carts. So that's, people have loved it, like you said, which makes me happy. So.
And also too, we've been having interest from people outside of California.
Oh, yeah.
So that's very impressive as well. We've had several people joining us from other states or flying in or coming for the weekend and stuff like that. So making like a weekend thing out of it. But you were kind of sharing with us some people are coming from quite a distance as well. So it's not just the local California people that you would be used to racing if you're in the community already. And it's really expanding and getting people from other states and attention from other areas as well.
That's right. We've had, 2 of our 3 champions were from out of state. Amboise in the junior is from Washington State. He's actually from France originally, but Washington State now, and flies in. And Giovanni Perez D'Amico, who comes in from Arizona every time. And I've got guys coming in from Colorado and Texas, from Tennessee, sometimes from the East Coast, a couple of guys. People came from Florida to compete. And then we had 2 guys coming from Hawaii, which is, it's a big distance. This is, and then guys from Southern California, a boy and a girl both come up from SoCal. And I find that really flattering, that they're willing to come that far. It's not a 3-day weekend. It's an arrive and drive. They're in, they do their racing, and they're done. And they want to come that far. So I'm really flattered by that in a way. And those people have, many of those from out of state have signed up for the full season this year. So 10 round trips, 11 if they come to the pre-season testing, which we're going to have actually on February the 1st before the endurance race. So, yeah.
All right. Well, that's a lot of information to take in, but all this information can be found on the website, formulakfx.com. You can find the schedule as well as register for the Art Engels Memorial Race. But thanks for joining me, Phil. I know you're prepping and getting everything ready, so I'm going to...
Just before I go, I just want to say, Ashley, thank you very much for everything you do for the Northern California karting community, and really the karting community as a whole is so appreciated that you put in so much time, giving of your time to bring everybody together and help the big engine, function in such a positive way. I know I'm not alone when I say thank you for that. We really, really appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, Phil. We'll see you at the Art Engels Memorial Race for sure.
Thanks. Thank you.
And all the information again and registration, formulakfx.com. We have some spots to fill for that enduro. So let's get registering, and I will share it onto NorCal Karters if you guys are interested in that. But we will see you soon, and
thank you. And
can't wait for 2026.
Thank you. Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye, Phil. All right. So while we were going through all this, just a reminder, the NorCal Karters calendar was updated today. With all of the Northern California or California regions events. And if there's anything missing, I am going to go through and add 2 clubs tomorrow. And if there's anything missing, just let me know, or let your club know to get a hold of me so that way I can put it on the calendar. While we were talking, we were waiting for Andy, who was watching the FCS game, and it was in overtime. and we saw some cheering and excitement. So I'm going to bring on Andy to let us know how that game ended out.
Go Cats! Go
What's
Cats! Go Cats! Go
up?
Cats! Hi, Ash.
Hey, Andy.
How are you doing?
All right. I am good. I'm going to pull up the website while we're here. Everybody knows Andy from Challenge of the Americas.
A bummed out Andy or a fired up Andy. So that's awesome.
Everybody knows Andy from Challenge of the Americas, Shinko Tires, Courtney Concepts now. What else?
It all started with Full Throttle Karting back in 2020.
Yep. Oh, FTK. You're right.
2002. So 23 plus years later. But yeah, all started there, and it's grown into whatever the hell this is now.
All right. So we're going to talk a little bit about the 4 races that we have planned this year in 2026 with your schedule. I'm going to pull up challengekarting.com, the website. Thank you, Sean, for the beautiful website with all the information. Right here on the front, registration now open. What does that mean, Andy? Does that mean we should register to let you know that we're coming to Challenge of the Americas?
It's always the best idea. I mean, I know those like to wait until the very last minute. Sorry, turning the heater off at my feet. But yeah, I mean, those of us that put on these races that require a lot of moving parts, like all of our almost 30-person staff and tires and fuel and all the other stuff, whether it be tents we need to rent or containers we need to bring in for storage. I mean, it all depends on the amount of entries we have here. And, you know, I mean, obviously our races are a little bit later this year. We start, you know, towards the middle end of February, where in years past, I mean, we've started as early as like this weekend.
Yeah, January.
But I mean, this year, just, as the schedule gets just so much more crowded, especially in that wintertime, I just decided to try to separate a little bit from the winter. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I assumed, like everybody, that all the winter races were going to be in Florida this year. And then all of a sudden, some of them moved to Texas. So now there's races in Texas and Florida and Southern California. So that kind of, throws another piece into the logistics equation. But it is what it is. Yes, we would appreciate it if you would register sooner rather than later. I mean, we know our race isn't for another almost 6 weeks, but for sure it's been open for almost a month. And it's on its normal track. We get a normal, whatever, 20% of our entries pretty early, and then it gets pretty quiet because of Christmas and New Year's and everything, and then people get busy, and then some people are in Florida or Texas or both. So, but yes. Registration is key. I mean, I know you've rented your hotel rooms. I know you've bought plane tickets for your mechanics. I know you've rented engines.
Yeah.
Why don't you just register?
All right, let's talk about the 4 venues that we're going to go to. We're going back to K1 circuit. Then we're going to hit Phoenix, then Colorado, and wrap things up in Sonoma. So let's talk a little bit about that and what the thought process was for your tour this year.
I'm a bit of I'm a loyal person, let's say. So I like to give the teams that support me home races if I can. I mean, there are national programs, let's say, that literally have I know one of them for sure. Their 2 furthest tracks from each other are 523 miles. Now, how many teams do you think are really in that 523 mile distance straight on the freeway? Not many, probably. So obviously, we got a lot of teams that have supported us over the years, in Southern California for sure, whether it be, Nash or Formula Works or Precision Works, Kart Nick, Speed Factory. I mean, I know I'll forget a couple, and I'm sorry. Proper Form. I mean, there's several that have supported us for over the years, and then so obviously I try to give them a Southern California race, and then Ruthless has been a major supporter for so very long. So I always try to make sure I at least get an Arizona race to make sure that he has somewhere close to his main customer base. Back in the day, it was Comp Kart with Justin, who's now with Factory Kart. So maybe we'll see them at one or two of our races. You just don't know. And then, Greg with Forward Direction, the Pontano importer, has been a huge supporter for so many years. And a couple years ago, they took over, him and a group took over the track in Colorado Karting Circuit, formerly known as Centennial. Brought that back to life. It had been dormant for, 8 or 9 years. I don't know the exact number. And it has built that into a great facility and a great local program. So, they need to be rewarded with a local race for themselves to show off, their work to our community and to get a home race. And then obviously we go to NorCal. I mean, Sonoma's been a stalwart for many, many years, whether it be, with Gary and Ron and Austin Speed Sense and Nick with Karting Collective. And, there's been so many that have supported us over the years that, you just, like I said, you have to support those that support you. And that's always been my goal. I mean, karting is I understand that karting, we always want to, the focus is always on the big national, we're going here's the fireworks and the big screens and the this and the that. And in the end, it's really about the people. And I just choose to, it's probably cost me thousands of dollars, if not way more over the years, to be loyal to people, because sometimes that loyalty is not repaid. But in the end, I have to be true to me. I have to be true to the sport. So that's why I do the things I do.
Yeah. And talking about that, we are on year 19. Let's talk about that. Yeah. Year 19. Almost over an adult age.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I was in my 30s when I started this, and now I'm in my 50s. I mean, good Lord, right? Yeah, I mean, it was a natural progression, which grew out of the Gators Karting Cup local championship that I did in Southern California. And then, with SSC Racing Support, who used to be the Rotax importer back in the day, because I was a big Rotax program, actually the biggest Rotax program outside of the Florida Winter Tour. We decided to build a West Coast mirror, winter program, which we were for years with Rotax. So we started that in 2008. So yeah, it's been an incredible journey. It's been fun. As I get older, I get worn down, and then every year I get pumped up again. I'm blessed, as you well know, because you're part of it. I'm blessed with a staff that's been with us for such a long, long time, and none of us are getting any younger. That's for sure. But my job, once we get to the racetrack, is pretty chill. I don't have to do much because you guys all do all the heavy lifting, and for that I'm grateful. But in the end, as a organizer, my job should be to organize and get everybody there, and then pass out trophies, and then get everything home. That's my job. My job shouldn't be micromanaging. I shouldn't be running out on the track. I shouldn't be waving my hands. I shouldn't be, dropping F-bombs at kids like we know a promoter or two does. That's just not my style. I just make sure that I have all the right people in place, which I absolutely do. I mean, you call us the Avengers, that's your nickname for us. I mean, when I have local race directors as support staff in our program, there he is, Discover Angel. I have people that run the show at their local program that are support pieces of our staff. And I don't say that like they're not important. They're as important, as everyone else, because we all have a part to play. And because all you guys play your part, I really don't have to do much when I'm at the racetrack, and that's all right with me.
Yeah. And it brings the vibe that everybody likes to compliment us on. And because we're all such a great team, that's what brings the vibe, and it shows to our racers that are racing with us that we all like to be there too. So proud of lifers.
We all been to places where, maybe the racing staff, how do I say this in a delicate way? Because, I'm not a delicate talker, but maybe they're not as passionate about the sport as a lot of us. I mean, they're there for a job, or they're there to do a job. But I mean, look at our 1 and 1A race directors. They were junior dads 20 years ago, right? They were racers themselves, maybe not in karting. I mean, Taylor, our race director, raced Formula cars back in the day. Mark was a drag racer, right? I mean, our assistant race directors, whether it be Josh, your husband, who's been a lifer, Brianna Bricione, who's a lifer, Phil Hand, our flagman, who's a lifer. I mean, we're bringing on a couple new guys this year, which are lifers that, I mean, our tech staff is the same. You and Shelby and Maddie. I mean, everybody's a lifer in this deal. So
yeah,
we become emotionally invested in the program, but we're also emotionally invested in karting. And like you said, that shows in the way we do things. And sometimes, maybe many times, it's not appreciated because maybe customers nowadays like things that are more flashy and more Instagram and more TikTok. And, that's just not my style. And I won't apologize for it. I'll say I'm just not good at it. I'm an operations guy, and I build the best damn staff I can. And I put all my energy into making the product at the racetrack the best. Maybe at some point I need to hire somebody to do all the flashy stuff, but in the end, I just do what I do and hire the best people I can. And you and Josh are certainly part of that, and I appreciate that.
Yeah. So before we talk about Courtney Concepts, let's mention too, I was trying to look for the article, but you added some classes this year. Right here. Yes. What classes did you add this year that are especially popular in NorCal?
You have them right there. Like, karting is a moving target. I mean, the more things change, the more they stay the same. Or maybe I said that differently. But anyway, I mean, for years we were Rotax, then we were Rock. And then I just decided that the manufacturing is having so much control. I'm just far too independent. So I've allowed both Rock and Miami engines in my classes for the past several years. I went out and found my own tire last year, which has been great. And then obviously the shifter thing has been funny, right? And I did the math over the past 25 years, and the popular shifter engine has had 7 different iterations in 25 years. And that's crazy. 25 different engines, whether it be complete stock moto to complete open moto to stock Honda to the 175 to the Rock shifter to the KZ. Now they have the Yamaha that Factory Karts Musgrave is pushing. I mean, it's like, oh my gosh. So obviously last year, I mean, our shifter classes dwindled. I mean, we allowed the KZ and the Rock, and they dwindled. And I just reached out to the teams and said, why? What am I doing wrong? Because that's always my first question. What am I doing wrong? And their answer is, you're doing nothing wrong. It's the fact that we've switched to KZ, and KZ racing is so expensive now that we just don't wish to be on a tire other than that's being raced at the Supernats. And it's like, oh, well, I can't control that. That's not. I mean. Like, you're not interested. No. We just, the time on our engines and the cost and the testing, we just don't want to be in a different tire. And so I said, okay, then if that's the case, that's the case. I appreciate the honesty. I also reminded them that just 3 years ago with Rock Shifter, we had over 50 at our races, but that's a story for another day. So it was a fairly simple choice to eliminate the shifter classes, as sexy as they are, as much as we all love them, as much as I love the sound and the power and it's awesome. It's unbelievable. I just took a step back and said, we're going to have to do a little reinvention. And, the most popular classes out there are basically 100cc or 60cc in the cadet, as far as the 2-stroke world goes, and the Briggs classes. Those 8 classes are run at 99% of all of the clubs in the country. And because we're the next step, whether we're the next step out of your club, out of your regional program, or it's the highest level that you want to get to or can afford to get to, because we know there are levels that are certainly harder to afford than ours. I wanted to give everybody an opportunity to come. And, obviously on the East Coast, CK&A has a great program. I mean, they've been in business for a long time. They've a great program, and our program is pretty similar. Right? CK&A has a winter nats, spring nats, summer nats, winter nats, spring nats, summer nats. I'm not sure if they have. Yeah, I think that's about it. Maybe they have one more. So if you think about it like this, K1s are winter nats, PKRAs are spring nats, and then we have our summer nats, whether it be in Colorado or Sonoma or both. So I decided to make both of those all those classes a championship class. Right now, I think 3 of the 4 classes at least have entries in them, and we're going to decide in a couple weeks. We put out on the internet basically right about 2 weeks from now. We need to kind of figure out if we're going to have enough entries to justify having those classes. We need to kind of get to that 10 mark, which is pretty much what every organization has to do. I mean, SCUSA does it at races. I know USPKS does it at races. There's always a call out. Hey, we're going to need 10 racers by this date. Otherwise, you're in risk of losing your class. So, like I said, I mean, 3 of the 4 classes, they need to have entries. So, we're just going to work towards that and figure it out as it goes on. I mean, I think it's a great opportunity for people to get away from their local club, to try something new, and try, a very high quality race program that's very different.
Yeah. And we tested out the Briggs, one of the Briggs classes this year in Utah as well. So that was very interesting to watch because, again, coming from NorCal, it was like, oh, I know what these are type things. Like these are my people,
Yeah, that's your jam for sure.
Yeah. So we tested out the Briggs class in Utah, and I can't remember how many there were, but it was a good
17 or 18, which was a good size. It was a nice size class. It was a reasonable class that showed that there was interest for a one-off kind of thrown together at the last minute.
Yeah.
It was certainly, there was enough interest to go, okay, there's value here. Now this year, those classes are full championship classes, racing the whole season for championship prizes. So, I mean, there's definitely, value in coming and trying it out and coming and having a good time.
Yeah. So we got Briggs Masters with the 100cc Masters as well. We have 100cc Senior, Briggs Senior, 100cc Junior and Briggs Junior, and 60cc Cadet with the Briggs Cadet.
Correct.
So 2026 is going to have lots of Briggs and 100cc, 60cc action at Challenge of the Americas. So make sure to register. We'll be at K1 for the first round.
Correct. And there's already a few people that are registered for both classes in their age category. So that's fun to see, right? So
yeah.
One thing I want to talk about is what people have asked is how did I decide on the slide weight combinations, right? So obviously senior masters are right. So I think you and Josh and I and the kids had lunch, a couple weeks ago, and when I was down in California, and it was like, okay, so we pull people. We don't just pull people in from one area. We pull people in from several different areas. Obviously, there's somebody that's going to say, "Oh, that's the wrong slide," or "That's the wrong weight." And okay, I get that. Let's just say I just didn't pull this stuff out of my butt. Like I'm a numbers guy. I'm an analytical guy. I literally took the places we're going to bring people from, whether it be Idaho, Colorado, Utah, the Burley Cup up in the Pacific Northwest, the NorCal, SoCal, Tri-C, the IKF Grand Nationals, and Phoenix PKRA. And you'd be surprised how many different combinations there are. Every class, at least the junior classes, had 3 different slides and 3 different weights for each of those classes. Senior, I think, had 3 different weights, same slide, obviously. Masters, 3 different weights, same slide. So it was like, oh my goodness. So I just built a spreadsheet and just looked at what were the most common and where would I most likely pull the most number of entries from. And that's where I chose. That's how I chose it. You know, it wasn't malicious. It wasn't to, I don't know, it wasn't to say your group's not welcome. I mean, let's be fair. The easiest thing to test on a Briggs is the slide. You buy one, you put it in, you put some tires on, and you go drive. And then you take a couple teeth off, put a couple teeth on, adjust your air screw, and then figure it out. So I don't think it's a bad thing. I mean, like I said, somebody's going to come out, or two people are going to come out and say, you screwed me because I didn't choose the right one for me. Okay. It goes to the same point. Since once I allowed IME and KA in my senior classes, when people said, oh, you should go to this or this, and I would say, well, SoCal's all IME and NorCal's all Rock VLR. Which customer base would you tell me not to show up? So it's like, it is what it is. I'm trying to open my arms and wrap my arms around as many people as possible. If it's attractive to you, come on and try it. I know we're not the cheapest program in the block. 30 people on the track working their butts off, and high quality tracks with expensive rental fees, you know, all make a difference. And that's what leads into the cost of these programs. But, you know, I want to see some Briggs people out there. I think we're going to see plenty because, like I said, as the entries come in, there's Briggs entries as well. So it's going to be fun to watch for sure.
Yeah. And yeah, like you were saying, you're going to all the cool tracks. You got Sonoma, you got that everybody wants to run on, you got K1 that everybody wants to check out. And
PKRA and Colorado.
PKRA. Yeah. I wanted to say Utah, but yes, Phoenix and Colorado this year.
Not this year. I mean, you know, Utah was great for us last year. It was a fun new track. It's the furthest east we've ever been, and now we're going, you know, another couple hundred miles further east. But it's for a good reason. Like I said, it's for a team that supported us for many, many, many years, and came into SoCal and NorCal and Arizona's backyard. So now it's all those teams' turn to pay Greg back for all the traveling he did. You know,
thanks, Greg.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you very much, Greg. Right, that you did all this work for all these years, these 10 years or whatever it's been. All right, now it's these guys' turn to come to your home track. And let's be fair, which Masters guy doesn't want to try to beat Falcone on his home track? I mean, good Lord.
Oh, dun dun dun. Yep, I forgot about that. That's gonna be good.
Exactly.
Shout out Scott Falcone. All right. So K1 circuit, if you go on challengekarting.com, you'll find the event info. All the online registration is open on Race Select, and supplemental rules right here.
See the track map? We're running a different track this year.
Oh, I see it. Whew.
Yeah, I know. So for those of you who don't know, we ran the full track last year, and we ruled track limits as the FIA CIK rules track limits, and it bit us in the ass. It was a decision we all made as a team, and customers were frustrated. My staff was frustrated. So this year we decided to run the little right, left, right chicane at the end of that straightaway that bridges the two straightaways at the bottom left of the track map. And in reality, with 4-stroke and 2-stroke single speed classes, that's a better layout anyway, because it gives us more time to slow down. The shifters probably wouldn't like it as much, but we don't have shifters. So with that little section, that makes it a little more technical and slows everybody down a little bit. So it serves two purposes. It throws another wrench and makes the track a little bit more technical, because, you know, in the single speed stuff, K1 could be, you know, a bit flat out in a lot of sections. So this adds another braking zone and some turning where you have to get some stuff right, more chances to make mistakes, to pass or be passed. So and it bails us out of the bad track limits decision that we as a team made last year.
It was one time. All right, but there is a link right here that says, please make sure you read the K1 supplemental rules post. So if you're planning on going to Challenge of the Americas at K1, there is a part right here where it says, please read the K1 supplemental rules post.
Yeah, it's a pretty corporate place. It's a pretty corporate place. So they have a few. If you read them, it's the rules that exist at every track. They're just pointing them out to you fundamentally. The biggest thing is we still offer motorhome spots for K1, even though they don't offer camping. So what I realized last year, we weren't going to allow motorhome spots last year. And several people called me and said, we'd like a motorhome spot because we want to bring our motorhome either to drive in or out every day because we use it as our tow vehicle, or we just want a driver's lounge or a place to chill during the day, whether it's to, God forbid, have a kid do homework. Who would do that at the track? Or a kid to play video games, whatever.
Yeah.
Or mom to make sandwiches, which is fine. And if she's making sandwiches, could she let me know so I can stop by and get a turkey cheese? But anyway, we still offer motorhome parking. Like I said, there's no camping, but there's motorhome parking in case you want to come and use a spot for your rig.
All right. And of course, there is a hotel block, small block of rooms at the Hampton Inn. Use promo code COA for the group rate, along with other K1 general facility rules. All the things we know we're not supposed to do. Common sense, really. Mm-hmm. But it's listed and it is worth the read. So take a look at that. K1, the event info. K1 event info. Thank you, Sean, for the beautiful website with all of the info on it as well. Oh, and our friend at Extra Cart Parts tuned in for the food talk. This guy, K1. Come to K1 and then we'll talk about food.
There you go. Actually, I'll talk about food. It's fun going to K1 since I left Southern California almost 3.5 years ago. I get to go back. I get my in and out. I'm not like DC. I'm not like Cole. I don't need in and out 7 times at every race I go out of town, west of the Rockies. But I do an in and out night for sure. But in Southern California, Mexican, you can get great Mexican anywhere, so that's great. And then for Angel, we got to make sure we go to the Hat, which is pastrami. Do you ever go to the Hat, Ashley?
No.
Oh, so it's a greasy spoon. It's a place that's been around forever.
I think I've heard him talk about it though.
What's funny is correct me if I'm wrong, I know Mike Giles makes their T-shirts, and I think that Dante Yu's mother works for them as a higher up in the office. So, it's just Southern California tradition. It's a pastrami dip sandwich. It's gravy fries, chili fries, all the good stuff. So yes, my food talk, Jason, is not that fancy foo fish with a chutney, whatever crap you eat. But I surely like to go taste Southern California again. It's fun.
Oh, and Angel's saying yes.
Well, he gets to stop at Del Taco and bring home 10,000 Del Scorcho sauces since they don't have Del Taco in Texas anymore. Corned beef and sauerkraut, whatever.
Yeah, this guy.
What did you want to ask me about Courtney Concepts? We brought that up earlier.
I wanted to ask you about Courtney Concepts because I was like, hey, doesn't Andy have a lot of stuff on his plate already? And then I see, boom, Andy's a partner at Courtney Concepts. So tell us about that and how that came about.
I actually, I guess I'm technically a partner until I stop paying him off. But yeah, I own the business. It's me now. Mike has officially retired, but Courtney Concepts is simply a wholesaler. We don't sell directly to the end user. So for any end user watching, you wouldn't even know what Courtney Concepts is. which is our place in the sport. But Courtney Concepts is a wholesaler that sells to dealers and teams that you buy from. So whether it be, the Motul products that we use at our races, the Kart Grand Prix oil that we use for our 2-stroke racers, or the off-road road or factory line chain lube, or the RBF 600 or 660, or brake fluid, or the trans oil, chain clean, easy wash. There's a lot of products that Motul makes that kart shops and teams utilize. And then we import and distribute RK chains, which is one of the highest quality chains in the market, whether it be for 219 and both, the gold non-O-ring or the O-ring variety, or even the 35 variety. And then there's a lot of stuff that you'll see on your cart that you don't even know comes from Courtney Concepts, whether it's the Tillotson little carb return spring, the little spring that's goes there on the carb lever on top, or conical washers, or exhaust springs, or metric hardware, fuel line, throttle cables. It's all the knickknacks that carts use that we import and sell. So, like I said, the end user is not going to know what Courtney does. It is one more thing on my plate, but it actually is related completely to what I do. Because when I'm not at the races, I'm distributing tires. I'm shipping tires and shipping. So whether I ship out 2 boxes a day or 10 boxes a day, I'm still, shipping things every day out of my location. So it's the perfect accessory business to what I do, and it is what I do now. So it's great.
Can you tell us a little bit about Shinko and any changes or anything that are gonna bring into next year?
Yes, actually, our 4-stroke tire remains the same, the green, which is what we also use for Cadet this year. Some folks that are used to a super sticky 4-stroke tire said, "Oh, it's so hard." I'm like, "Well, that's the point. It's a harder 4-stroke tire. Like 4-strokes aren't supposed to be on a shifter tire." And whether it's the LeConte Red or the Avinco or the or the Vega, those are basically shifter tires that they call a hard tire, because it's the harder of the 2 tires they make, even though it's still durometers in the 40s, and you can run a shifter on it with no problem at the club level. So yes, the green will remain unchanged. We have worked on our yellow, our prime tire, which now actually has sort of an orangish label. They're going to be introduced. We just got them into the country. Teams have started buying them to test. It is significantly faster than last year's tire, which was the complaint. People didn't complain that they lasted 200 laps. Weird that they didn't complain that their tire didn't wear out in 50 laps like some other brands. But they did complain or offer criticism that our tire was a bit slow, which it was. It was slower. So they worked on it all year in Korea this past year to make it faster, and we tested some sets. So it's what we're working towards the 2027 homologation period. So the orange is going to be our tire for this year, and teams currently have them and are starting to test. And the feedback has been great. Actually, it's been all positive, which is odd because it's never all positive.
Yeah. Well, and so that's what I kind of wanted to highlight too, is like you're actually getting feedback and listening and adding ideas and stuff to the actual tires. So that's what some people are like, "Oh, Shinko, how did he get involved with Shinko and this and that?" And that's what I tell them, like, no, he's actually helping like develop this karting tire. So it's not really them on their own just giving us a product. It's Andy's little fine tuning as well.
2 hours ago, I was going back and forth with the factory because they're 15 hours ahead of us. So when it's 7 at night here, it's 10 in the morning there. So, and that's 2 or 3 times a week I'm talking to the factory. So I've never met I've never been involved with a company in karting that was been more eager to listen to constructive criticism and to fix issues. Um, many times we're involved in the sport, and we just get what the factory gives us, and then when us on this side of the pond gives our feedback back to Europe, they go, "Oh, we never have that problem. You just must be a dumb American." And and people may laugh at that and shake their head, but I've been around this sport for 40 years and I've heard it 10 billion times. So the fact that Shinko is willing to listen, and in fact, as you know, Nick, my contact at the factory, came to our K1 race last year, which was our second race, and talked to teams and took tire samples and listened to feedback and durometered tires versus other brands that they happen to have at the track, and offer suggestions when people say, I can't figure these out. How about you just try this? The challenge with racers now is that, they're used to the same tire that they use at their home place all the time. And when they're throwing a curve, which is a different tire brand, it's like, whoa, the answer is always the same. This tire sucks. It doesn't suck. Just figure it out. Everyone thinks that they or their child is going to be a Formula One racer, but they're scared to try something new. And all I know is the best racers can jump on any kart, any engine, any tire, and go fast. So if you don't do those things or are willing to try something different, you'll never be fast.
Yeah, that is true. Nick was there at K1, and he was very insightful, but he was also taking, because I remember people would come up to me and say, "Oh, there's something wrong with this tire," or "There's something wrong with this tire," and when we would talk to him about it, he was very receptive and taking in all the information, writing notes on everything, taking pictures. He wasn't, like you're saying, just, "Oh, we don't have that problem here." Right. So yeah, they're very involved in trying to create a formula that will work here with us in the States. So I was very impressed with that.
More than that is I was the first big player to take a chance with them, and they took a chance with me. I'm not Korean. They don't know who I am. So, they were big, obviously, in Korea. They made tires for many years. They were big in Asia. I mean, oddly enough, Shinko is a spec tire for both Rotax Philippines and Rock Philippines. And Rotax and Rock have their own tire. So the fact that those programs use our tire is interesting, right? But with a small market like that, you don't get the feedback, you don't get the development. So when we set our agreement together, our market and our development we were able to really give a lot of feedback. And it sounds like when we have these discussions, it sounds like, oh, we're developing the tire here. Every batch I got was the same. I mean, people were like, "Oh no, I put tires on from January and tires to April, and they were the same tire."
Yeah.
But then our challenge, and he took whatever we had in March at our K1 back, and he started developing the tire all summer. So he worked on it there. Like, it didn't change for us at all, for better or for worse. If people were unhappy with it, that's what you had. But throughout the summer, he worked, and then we got some, and we tested some in private. It's like, oh, okay. We took everything that a customer said, and we put it into play, and man, he did what he said he was going to do. So to me, I mean, that's incredible, right? So the cool thing is the work we did here opened up a little bit of some South American markets. Now he's working the European markets. So all of a sudden, this brand that was only known in Asia, that then got grabbed in America, now has South America, now is pushing into Europe. And it's exciting for me to feel like I was a part of that. I'm not saying I didn't do any work to that. It's not like I carried this gigantic flag, but I bought into their program. They bought into my program. And we put together, a deal that worked for everybody, and now they're able to expand. I mean, he's looking maybe in a year or two, you might see Shinko at FIA CIK races in Europe because he's working on European business. So, you know, the minute that happens, it's over. I mean, people are going to be like, holy cow. You know, people are going to say to me, I remember when I was at your first race with Shinko and that tire was hard. Okay, great. Congratulations.
Yep. That's going to be fun.
But I know Nick won't quit. Nick will not quit, and I won't quit. So.
All right. Well, Shinko Tires Challenge of the Americas year 19 coming up. And we're going to be going to K1 Circuit, Phoenix, Colorado, and Sonoma. Registration is now open on Race Select. But we will see you there in February.
By the way, where's Josh?
Josh is in Salinas right now.
He's working on Phillips go-karts.
Yeah.
I saw the picture.
So he's working on with KFX, and yeah, we're getting ready for both seasons to start. So kind of enjoying our last of the winter break from school, and then we're gonna start getting into it, back into our routine.
Yeah, baby. Can't wait.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, Andy, and FCS game hopefully went in your favor.
Montana State Bobcats, FCS champions.
So be sure to register for Challenge of the Americas, and then you can see all of us there at K1, along with our team of Andy's Avengers. And yeah, 2026 getting started. Again, I want to remind you or mention again, if you're joining us later, that NorCal Karters it's norcalkarters.com/events. The calendar has been updated. So all the schedules and everything that I had that I helped work on are now posted. So 2026 is going to be updated. I think I have 1 or 2 clubs left. I just kept going till I couldn't type anymore, and I was seeing cross-eyed. So that's updated, and by the end of the week, everything should be on there and ready to go. Challenge of the Americas is on there with all the registration info as well. So we will see you in 2026.
It is 2026.
It is 2026. I said something about last year, 2025 earlier, and I was like, wow, that's weird. So, all right. Well, thanks for joining us, Andy. We'll see you at K1 and NorCal. We will see you at some of these races that we have on our calendar. And as always, if we all bring one person into karting, we will double by next year.
Weird
Peace.
how that works.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.